There's about 20 million people in Sri Lanka. There's barely 200 people here, or 150. And you are touching history today, you know, because there's going to be a huge change in the habits of energy consumption in Sri Lanka. And I'm so glad I'm here also. I think you all deserve an applause for that, you know. So I'll start my speech. It's a small one, actually. I just wanted to tell about the history of the electric vehicle a little bit. Actually, the Go Green thing is, I'm going to come back to it later. So I'll proceed further. Now, you see the picture there on the slide. Now, you might think that this is a cart or some kind of a car or whatever it is. I'll show you some more pictures. Let's go through. Well, electric vehicles are really new to us. But this is an electric vehicle. This is an electric vehicle, and it's not the only one. You see the battery packs underneath the seat? It's an electric vehicle. This is an electric vehicle. These are all electric vehicles. Now, one of the electric vehicles that was built in the 1898, somewhere around there, it was a Porsche. The Porsche that was built by himself was an electric vehicle. Although the Porsches were, as we know, they are really nice cars, but unfortunately they turned out to be internal combustion vehicles. Now, as you see, it has reached at that time, in the 1898, it could reach up to 21 miles per hour. It's almost about 40 kilometers or something like that, is it? And it had a range about 100 kilometers and at that time. And after 100 years, we are touching the same sphere to remind ourselves or something like that. So basically, it's been there for a long time. It's not new, even though we hear about it for just now. Now this one, have you heard of the EV1? EV1 is an electric vehicle that was, I think, built in the US in 1970s or somewhere around there. And this one was built in mass production. But the reason to build this one was that the General Motors, the US Ford's company, they were going bankrupt. And the US government enforced, they said, we will support you only if you produce a different car that will have, that will be using a different type of energy, for example, electric. And it was not only offered to General Electric, some other companies also, but the General Electric came up with this car, the EV1, and they introduced to the market, and the government wanted just 10% of their production to be EVs like this, EV1. But actually what happened was, there was very positive feedback from the people, and they wanted more. And it grew up to 20%, and then later it became 30%. And what was happening was, there was another industry that was, they didn't want to grow this type of vehicles. So the General Electric thought that it's not going to be a good niche for them because they wouldn't have to sell their, spare parts and stuff. So they thought after some time they should take back all the vehicles. And they actually took back, and there was hundreds of thousands of lawsuits by the people who owned these vehicles. And they collected more than 100,000 vehicles, and they crushed them. And that was the death of an electric vehicle. So if someone asked, who killed the electric vehicle? You know the answer. So anyway, after that, this is one picture where the crushed vehicles were. Now, after that, we know that electric vehicles are coming back. And the really famous name that we are talking these days is Elon Musk. So he's the owner or CEO of the really desired electric vehicle. It's called the Tesla, and he's the Tesla man. And if you see, he's saying I could either watch it happening or be a part of it And today you are a part of it. I'm so glad you're here. This is the Tesla. It's actually how you plug in an electric vehicle at home. This though is going to be in Sri Lanka in a few months maybe, hopefully, a year. And this is how they use the solar panels to charge their electric vehicles. And this is how it looks now, the map of electric vehicle charging points in the US right now. This is how it looks like in the UK, United Kingdom. And I've marked few points where we are planning to put the electric vehicle charging points in Sri Lanka. Actually, it's going to be a 15, then it's going to expand to other places. So it will be, next is ours. So as Mr. Sarasinghe said, that it's high time for us to change. It's high time for us to go for electric vehicle. You know, there were no cell phones 10 years back or 20 years back. We never thought about it almost. We never thought about the internet technology that we have today, the computers and stuff. It's there today. And the electric vehicles, they are here today also. Now, getting back to the Go Green. Well, I'm a doctor myself, although talking about engineering stuff, which is not maybe not my concern or something like that. Actually, it's not like that. You can be on two sides when you are a doctor. You can be on the treatment side or on the preventive side. Which one would you prefer? Right. So the next point is, it's written underneath Go Green. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. We all know that. By our heart, we know that. It's high time to change. Thank you. But before that, I want to introduce you the actual person who is not a theoretic like me on electric vehicles, but a person who's really built an electric car himself in Sri Lanka, using the resources he had at that time. I want to introduce Nilanga. Nilanga Sriratna.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bharat. It's a great privilege to have the opportunity to talk about electric vehicles. So today I'm going to briefly explain about EVs, how does it work, difference between EV and electric vehicles, emission and environmental benefits, cost saving. Okay, let's start. What is EV? Electric vehicle is an automobile that converts electrical energy into mechanical work. So electric vehicle, on screen you can see the battery. This we call as an energy storage device. Most common and popular battery system is lithium ion because it has high energy density and high power density. But there are many other battery systems that we can use for EVs, such as lead acid, aluminium air, lithium polymer, nickel cadmium, nickel metal hydride, vanadium redox, and etc. As I mentioned, battery is an energy storage device and it transfers the electrical energy into the electric motor, and electric motor converts electrical energy into the mechanical work. Let's see how it works. An electrical vehicle is controlled by one or more electric motors using electrical energy stored in battery or another energy storage device. Electric motor gives the electric car instant torque, rated strong, and smooth acceleration. Let's see the system overview. You can see there are three main components: battery, controller, and the motor. Next to the picture, there is a controller in between the battery and the motor. There are two types of controllers. One is inverter type controller and the converter type controller. But most of the manufacturers are using inverter type controllers, meaning AC controller. Control is a device that can control motor speed, torque, and direction. Another important thing that I need to mention, rigid current. As I mentioned, the electric motor converts electrical energy into mechanical work, and the mechanical work can also convert into the electrical energy. This method we call as a regenerative braking. But the brake of the conventional vehicle converts kinetic energy into heat and discharge the energy into the air. Right, now let's see the main electrical parts. There are main three components. First, battery pack, then the controller, this is an inverter type controller, then the motor, which is a three-phase induction motor. Then let's see the other parts, the charger. A battery charger is a device used to put energy into a battery by forcing an electric current through it. And then the vacuum pump. Vacuum pump is a device that is used to increase brake efficiency. And this is DC-DC converter. DC-DC converter is an electrical circuit which converts a source of direct current from high voltage level to low voltage level. This is electric compressor. Electric compressor is a device that is used to compress AC gas by using electrical energy. This is electronic throttle. Electric throttle is a device that converts mechanical work into the electrical energy and supply variable voltage into the controller for speed and torque control. Right. This is a BMS, we call battery management system. The battery management system is an electronic system that manages a rechargeable battery, cell or battery pack, such as by protecting the battery from operating outside its safe operating area, monitoring its state, calculating secondary data, reporting the data, controlling its environment, authenticating it, and or balancing it. Let's move on to the next slide. Difference between EV and IC vehicles. So you can see the power EV vehicles need electricity, but IC vehicles need fossil fuel. EV vehicle high efficient, but IC vehicle relatively low efficient than EVs. EVs non-traditionally use gearbox, but IC vehicle need a gearbox. EVs less maintenance, example every 10,000 kilometers, but IC vehicles need regular maintenance, example every 4,000 kilometers. EVs full zero emission, but IC vehicle CO2 and nitrogen oxide emission. So EV low running costs, example 3 to 6 rupees, but IC vehicle relatively high running costs than EVs, example 30 rupees per kilometer. Now this is the emission and environment benefits. So you can see this chart shows annual greenhouse gas emission by car. Now this shows the greenhouse effects. 60% contributed by carbon dioxide. Let's see another very important environment benefits, especially for us. Biological mosquito control by little brown bats, GG Bauya. Industrial little brown bats can capture from 500 to 1,000 mosquitoes in a single hour. Little brown bats are specializing in eating mosquitoes, but big brown bats that select mosquitoes as their source. Due to air pollution, now the big brown bats are the most common bats in Colombo and major cities. Our ecosystems benefit from this animal, especially from little brown bats. For one, it keeps the insect population at a reasonable number by each year. Little brown bats die from drastic changes in their habitat by air pollution. Because of this reason, they are on the endangered species is because they are being killed off faster than they can reproduce. Mosquitoes today are nearly double than the number of mosquitoes that were present some 10 years back. Global warming has caused this number to increase greatly, and they are the number one enemy of mankind in the animal kingdom today. It has also been found that mosquitoes are getting tough than before. Okay. So the truth is, if we need to protect our mother nature, and mother nature will protect us. But unfortunately, today we are destroying our environment because every second millions of carbon dioxide and nitrogen oxide enter the atmosphere by our transportation system. If we continue this scenario, there is only one thing left for us to do. Can you think? This is my answer. So I hope you also have the same answer. The next thing I want to speak about electrical vehicle cost saving. Unfortunately, most of our Sri Lankan consider this factor, not the things I mentioned earlier. Let's assume we travel around 100 kilometers per day. Then the maximum range per month will be around 3,000 kilometers. let's say petrol costs around 13 rupees per kilometer and the electricity costs around 6 rupees per kilometer. So the average will cost per annum around rupees 260,000 kilometers for EV and for 460,000 for IC vehicle. Then the average maintenance cost per annum is around 11,000 for EVs and 14,000 for IC vehicle. Total cost per annum around 227,000 for EVs and 5,000 for IC vehicle. So the cost saving for electric vehicle will be around 208,000 per annum. So after 5 years, we will be able to save around 1.4 million. Let's say after 5 years, we need to need battery back. So the battery back price will be around 1 million. After 5 years, the total cost saving will be around 400,000. Right, I need to tell you that these figures depend on your driving pattern and your vehicle usage. So that's brings me the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.